one. We got it.
We got it. We are live backstage Boston Calling, courtesy of Miller Lite. I'm Julie Kramer. I'm here with Ryan from Guster, who's wearing the most swanky pants. Do a little thing. Look at it. Look at it. You're gonna sweat your tuchus off, but man, are they awesome! And a homemade shirt.
And a
mind
homemade
you.
shirt. I
Because
did it up for my outfit.
not only is he a musician, he's a wannabe seamstress, maybe embroiderer.
I work. It is embroidery, and I am working in textiles these days.
Are you?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I like that. Well, you got to do something while you're in Vermont. It was a long
Exactly.
winter.
Don't think that I don't know that.
Did you leave your house at all?
We were on tour we put out a record in January, so
Yep.
we were gone from January to April.
Where
and I
were
was
you?
Gone. The whole country, and 3 shows in Canada that weren't great. But
No?
that's our fault, not theirs. Is everything working okay? You're looking like you want to get attention. Everything
Okay.
cool? Bump
So
it up.
let's talk about the new record, Look Alive. I love the video for Overexcited.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's very creative.
I went to Germany on our week off, a very rare week off, and I was so excited to be home with my family. And Mark in our office like, I need you to go to Germany on your week off, and I was so sad. And I was like, this video better be worth it. So I'm glad to hear
I
that
love
you
it.
like it.
It's very now.
It's very.
You know what I'm
now.
saying?
No, I don't.
Well,
please
you
tell
know,
me
for
more.
those of you who use a dating app where
yeah,
you're
right.
swiping.
Yeah.
This is not something you would have done back in the 90s
No.
because we didn't have any of that technology.
I guess that's true. It's it's going to be very dated. It will be a thing.
It's very
It'll-
now.
It's very now,
You
which
know?
is good and bad.
Yeah, well, as I was watching it, I'm like, because you've been around forever,
Forever.
and I was thinking you wouldn't have done this in the 90s
There
because
was-
we didn't have it.
we
and
didn't
so
have Black
you-
Mirrors in our pockets.
You know?
Exactly.
But it looked like it was fun to make. You
Yeah,
want to tell
those-
everyone what it's about?
Well, it was actually our 3rd attempt at a video. It was hard. It was the 3rd time we tried to start that video. That's why it took so long into the cycle of the album to release the video. But these crazy Germans had this idea, and all their other videos were very weird and super fastidious and perfect, and we really felt like they kind of. And the thing is with making a video is like I can't micromanage a video. It's like I have to let somebody's vision be the thing, and you just have to kind of give yourself to somebody and expect them to take it from beginning to end. So I just went there and said yes for like 4 days. It was like, whatever you want me to do. Oh, you want me to get up on all fours and have this lady on a motorcycle outfit whip me? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you want an octogenarian to put a butterfly thing in my face, like leading me over a table? Yes, Germans. So
Yeah.
I just said yes, and I've only watched it once, but I
I've
think
watched it a
went-
couple times.
Okay, good. I'm
so
glad
it's
it went
it's
okay.
it's about trying to meet someone.
Yeah, it's like a Tinder. It's like a
Yeah,
fake thing, and
trying
then
to-
a guy, and then
going
we made
on dates.
and then we made a fake an app like called Gusto that was based on their idea. It was I don't know. It's fun to be creative.
Yes,
Period.
it is. It's good and it feels good all the time. So let's talk about, since we are talking about sort of this longevity of your band, how do you see things today as opposed to 10, 15 years ago?
America in the 21st century.
Back in the horse and buggy days.
In what way? Through what lens would you like
when
me
you're
to
out
discuss
playing,
this?
is it the same? Do you
No,
feel
no.
like when you're out, to a crowd, do you think like the crowds are the same? I mean, everyone has
No.
a phone now. Do you feel like your audience is any different?
Well, I mean, I could speak to this in a lot of different ways. I will say that I came here last night to see like the last little bit of the set, to see a little bit of Tame Impala, who I just really like. But I walked in and I was like, oh, I see like festival. We play festivals. We don't play a lot of like cool festivals all the time, but we do like, maybe 1 or 2 a year. And I was like, oh, right, this is what it feels like. Like 19-year-olds in short shorts and like dudes passed out and like, but also people really, and I felt like sort of our wisdom or our veteran status a little bit. I'm like, oh, right, these kids aren't coming to see Guster necessarily. I mean, it's not that they wouldn't, but I felt like, not removed from it, but I felt like, oh, I'm a part of this thing, but I'm not in the zeitgeist. I'm not in the dead center of what this festival is about. And not in a bad way. In
You're
a way,
part of the magic, what creates the festival,
well,
but
I
you're
just-
not
in a
necessarily.
way that I felt like I felt sort of honored that we were a part of it. Like it was like, oh, I like that we're a part of this thing that also includes, Travis Scott or 21 Pilots or Snail Mail. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
I'm
just-
excited to see Snail Mail.
Yeah, me too. And there's a bunch of stuff I like that's here that was like that I missed over the course of the weekend. So it was like I feel like it was cool that we kind of still get to play in the sandbox. I guess is one answer to your question, just to make it about Boston Calling. But and in general, I mean, yeah, everything's changed. Like when we started, radio was completely different. There was no internet. I mean, it was a completely different world. You know that.
Yes,
You were here.
I was right there with
I
you,
know
kid.
you were. I listened to you on the radio.
And I also feel like technology in terms of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Like, are you crazy about trying to stay up on all of your social?
Well, I think we were always kind of into that stuff before. Like we just did a panel at a music conference about our reps, the Guster reps, because we basically had a street team before there was that term. And so this idea of being close to your fans and stuff, like the panel was all managers of bands and big agents and stuff who all got their start in the music industry being our rep, which was a really beautiful panel. But it was sort of like this was the first time that so that all felt like it wasn't a marketing strategy as much as like it was just cool. Like, I mean, it was, but it felt very natural. So, like Brian runs the Instagram and I run the Twitter, and it's just like an expression. I run the Twitter in first person, like I did this today, and it's not like, please get our tickets now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think we try and do things in all parts of our band where like verisimilitude and truth telling are like the priority. So hopefully it comes across. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm on my phone like. My screen time was down to 6 hours a day last week, down
Wow.
20%.
You must have been sick or sleeping a lot.
I don't think it counts when you're on a map.
You must have been working on this shirt.
I feel like, please tell me that when you're driving and you're using your map, that counts as screen time, because otherwise it's like really sad.
So you have toured probably all over the world. Is there somewhere where you haven't toured yet that you're going to go to?
we barely played outside of North America, like barely. So, yeah, we never
After
really.
all these years?
Yeah, we did a couple Europe runs. I've never been to Japan or South America. We have friends who travel the world, obviously, as musicians, and I'm like, oh, you got paid to be in Greece today? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, the bucket list is very long.
So can you make that happen maybe with this record?
No, I need to, like, be a guitar tech for Maroon 5 or something.
And that's how you can get
That's
to
the only
Greece?
way. That's literally my quickest way to get to go around
Maybe
the
your
world.
German friends who made the video
I
could,
know. We could play Germany.
So, with all this longevity that you've had, do people ask you for advice?
Yes.
And what kind of advice do you give a nice young budding band?
You know what? I feel like I'm getting more way these days. I'm getting like personal advice than career advice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people are like, I'm having this trouble with my wife or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm good at this.
Okay, sit down.
You sit down.
Lay on my couch.
Tell me your problem. I feel like I can help you. Like, do you have a problem? I could probably help you with something. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
Not really. I really just want to talk about you.
Oh, okay,
my
sorry.
problems are a long list.
Okay. We can start with one.
But seriously,
Well-
like, because I would think that a lot of bands starting out could get a lot of advice from you in terms of making records, touring, seamstress stuff,
textile work,
pants.
I don't know, because it's like, it's funny. I don't think that a lot of young bands look at our band and it becomes aspirational to be like, man, I want to be 27 and be in the same band. I think it's much more short term. Like, I want to headline Coachella, or I want to get like a vitamin water deal or something. But I mean, there are a few bands, and also again, like when we came up, it was so different. So I don't really feel like, and I don't know what advice, I think generally my advice sort of gets distilled into the same thing of like, no matter what you do, like, just be sincere and tell your truth, and don't
Be good to your fans.
Yeah, be good to your fans. Don't condescend. Say yes to opportunities, like that kind of stuff. That's like kind of like life advice, but it kind of applies to
You
your
could be a
band.
life coach.
I can. See, I got an idea for some things, but we're onto it.
You
I
know?
could be a life coach.
It's like, what do you do? Oh, I'm in Guster, and I'm also a life
also a
coach.
life
When I'm
coach.
off the road, I hang a shingle.
But do you know that I have a PBS show where I interview bands? So I have a music interviewing.
You do? I
thing.
did not
Yeah.
know that.
It's in Vermont. When bands play in town, I would do like a 3 or 4 hour offsite interview and intersplice it with this live music. When they played the club, we do like a 5 camera shoot with an audio truck. It was
that's
kind of
nice.
Austin City Limits meets Comedians in Cars.
Do you have a website or anything?
Yeah, it's called Bardo. It's on PBS. We did like Tune Yards and Caroline Rose and Lake Street Dive and this guy. It was really fun. But I got to do what you did, which is why I was asking if you did a lot of people, because I get really nervous. Like when I was interviewing Meryl from Tune Yards, like
I like her.
she's amazing.
Super smart.
So smart. And like she was talking, I was like, I know her manager, and I was like, she's talking a lot about white privilege. And I was like, he's like, yeah, she might want to talk about it. So I was like, I got to go study. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a dum-dum, but I also don't want to, like, so, and I want to know about, she's also had a long career. Like, and I was actually talking, I have another friend, Talia, who does World Cafe on NPR.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you interview like Todd Rundgren? You know what I mean? Like someone who's lived like 40 years of his life. Like how do you even like learn enough that
Like,
you don't...
what question hasn't been asked
yeah,
yet?
or like Paul McCartney or like people like that. Like I'm just so fascinated by how people do research. Like for a young band, it's like, oh, you've been a band for a year. That's easy.
Yeah.
Don't ask them how they got their name, and we're pretty much off to
Yeah.
a great start. But otherwise, I'm like, how do you interview a band? But so my whole deal was, I was like, I want to skip the first like 20 questions and start at like 21. So you already kind of get into it.
Right.
I don't know how successful I was, but it's really fun. I like your job.
Yeah.
I'll do your job.
I'd
It's
like your
a life
job, but
coach.
unfortunately, I have no musical talent. But they,
You have other
I
talents,
do,
Julie.
I do, and that's for an interview.
Look
for
at your
another
longevity.
day.
By the way, like, how many people get to do what you've been doing for a long time? You must be a tenacious mofo.
Or something.
Or something.
Ryan,
Julie,
thank you.
thank you.
Guster, backstage, Boston
I
Calling.
feel like I didn't answer any of your questions, but I'm glad we had a good conversation.
We did, because
Okay,
that's what
good.
it's all about, a
Really,
good chat.
It really is.
That's what it's all about. Good friends talking about old times. Guster, live, backstage, Boston
I
Calling.
need
courtesy of
sunscreen
Miller
before
Lite.
we leave. I
I'll put it
definitely
on you,
need
kid.
Sunscreen. Okay.